Today, we are going to discuss how the technologies are affecting the insurance market. The technologies are changing everything. They are changing the barriers we're accustomed to. People used to do, everyone used to do one's own business, baking bread, making steel, some were doing the insurance. Now it's not like that anymore. So now we are going to have a polemic battle. The core business, which was always insurance, they are in the right corner of our ring, in the red zone, against those who have come to that market recently, and they were involved with completely different things, but now they are actively taking part in different components of the insurance business. They are in the blue corner on the left. Since we are talking about the future, even though the entire forum is filled with the future and we are hearing the scary words DeFi, NFC, distributed registers and others, of which the meaning is not known to many people, including myself. We will be basing it on the paradigm of what is going to happen tomorrow, how we are going to change it, what is going to happen with that business. And in order to better establish the tone of what will be awaiting us, we have to feel how our society will behave itself in the normal life. So I'm happy to introduce Alexander Tsypkin, a writer, my co-moderator. Usually he's speaking on different platforms, normally in theatrical environment. And Alexander had, on purpose for you, for us, for this session, prepared a story which will illustrate to us the image of the future on which we will base in our subsequent discussion. I'm not used to it. It's a hassle. My wife said, how come you're going in the morning to read your story? It's called Insurance Case. I'm going to be releasing a whole book about the future, mostly gloomy one, but this one is a little better. Max came to Delhi and went to the first date. It was the first one over a year from the time that he got a phone call from the police, and when his wife was found unconscious on the sidewalk, and there is this set expression, a brick falling on one's head. It's usually used as a very unlikely event, even though Bulgakov's character had a different point of view. Sometimes death is comical in its tragic nature. A pot with a plant fell on the head of 50-year-old Sylvia, who was always very careful about your health. And it was a cactus plant. Out of all the killer plants, it sounded the most absurd. Mostly the guy pricked his hand and threw it out of the window. And if you multiply all factors, it's a very minuscule likelihood that something like this would happen. So Max thought for a long time about the destiny of his wife, and the entire insurance business in which Max worked is all built on likelihood, and he was a mathematician by education. The camera even has shown that Sylvia stopped to tie her shoelace. She was in a hurry to get to her exercises. She had regular medical checkups for an nanorobot touring her body, cryocameras, ozone molecular therapy, and even suborbital flights in the recently invented gravitation capsule. So her health index was 2, which meant 23 to 24 years, and that was a bonus from Eternal Life Global Insurance. So she got to the best hospital, but the doctor said that there is no chance to Max. And it was a bit of irony, because there was also not very likely that the pot will fall on her head. But mostly the cases, the chances are in favor of death, not of the life. In a week, Max had himself signed the papers to for disconnection from the life support, especially since it was in Sylvia's will. No vegetable state, she was too lively to keep her existence dead. And Leah, who studied on the other shore of Atlantics, she mostly walked meta-universes with her father, but it seemed very cold and deprived of anything human. She regularly missed meetings with her daughter, and she started to stay more apart. So he came to the September holidays, and he wanted to keep her real hand, not the one painted by a neural network. To understand, she embraced her father, and she said that he needs to find new relationship. And since mom made them rich by her will, he needs to take a vacation and start doing it. But he said he's 66, he's working from home, he goes to Meta Universes only for a meeting with her, so it's like old school for the underage people. But she said very old people, really old ones. And so he said that our body can, in the Meta Universe, she said, can prompt something, can help us. So she wasn't sure about Roman, his boyfriend. So he goes to Dream World to find the matches, possible matches for him. So, and she also was trying to find possible options in the dream world. But don't you feel, he said, that Roman is your guy? But she said, I am connecting neural network to my heart, and it's reading all my reactions. So I'm also choosing with the heart, but I'm trying to hear it better. So actually... And so mom and him never wanted to put probes on each other to connect, but it actually, Leah said, works only before a personal meeting. Your subconsciousness, when it looks at the picture of a different woman, actually dream is built on a detector, on the basis of a lie detector of about 100 years ago. You know what happened with a couple whose match was 83 to 91? He killed her. So, hang avatar, for my sake. It's the best way of occupying your evening. How many times have you promised to play with me and you cheated me? So what should I do? So she brought a scanner for the face, scanned his face, started an account at Dream, put the sensors on the back of the neck, on the chest and in the, around the heart. So then she found a very youngish looking with a misty girl with misty eyes, and she said, you are a misogynist and misanthrope, and she said, I never had a reaction to anyone below 32, but for normal subconsciousness it's okay, so let's find something that morally matches. So it's mom's age, 36, so maybe it's just providence. They started to check woman after woman, but the match was really over 50, and the application made it 65 only once, and so she had to send an inquiry which included only the reaction figure. So it was only avatar and the value of your reaction, which only upon your will could have seen the object of your interest, so she wouldn't answer. Dad, I need to hope for the best. So, 66, yes, he's beautiful. It's, you are lying, you are cheating me. The subconsciousness wants to look at the right facial features, but conscious and subconscious may have different idea of the attractive features. So then a signal was sounded, and then it was a request from somebody, and she opened the message. Max read it once again, and then he quietly asked, "Can there be system errors?" And Leah tried to go back to consciousness, to her wits, and she nodded her head, swung her head and said, "No, dream never has mistakes. It's the first time I see this figure, 98. So over the entire history of Dream, this high figure only was shown 13 times. You should definitely check yourself for the match with this lady, because I want to live with an idea that mom was the best match of my life. So you can check yourself afterwards. Push." He looked at the night sky, which was trying to get into the room through the open window, and he even smiled to someone in the clouds and put the arm on the measurement, and so 49, it brought some quiet. So yes, God started boozing, and he confused the matches, so he wants to change his dull life. Now can I take off the probe? Don't you want to see her? I have 49 for her. There is something unusual. So if you meet in reality, something will turn on. I don't know, what if I don't? What if I don't want anything to turn on? Well, you will live for another 30 years of solitude. Do you really want it? Please meet her, at least out of mercy. Do you understand what's happening to her? And you have no right not to meet with her. And about mercy, I actually agree with you, even though actually I am interested why she is it happened so I wonder where she lives. So he wrote a reply, and then now he was flying to a date with Ruda. She was an Australian living in Beijing, and they wanted to live in between London, where he was staying at his daughter's, and Delhi, and Delhi was made the capital of the world. Actually, Max wanted to travel world capitals in Novosibirsk. It ended quite sadly. So Ruda was 53, and Max actually liked her. She was a nice lady. And actually he felt that it was easy now for him. He felt at ease. They chatted, they recognized each other. And there was this charm of the first date, and it was about an hour that he wasn't thinking about Sylvia. So out of her natural tactfulness, she did not ask about his predecessor. It was 60 minutes free of the pain, and remembering Sylvia, and then one more hour and one more hour. And now Max realized that he liked her a lot more than he wanted, so he almost kept with the hands. And next time he proposed to walk Delhi, and not to start this questioning regularly. He proposed to meet for breakfast. So if you're not at breakfast, maybe too old for you. So don't mind such unexpected holidays. Another question. So how much, what was the match percentage for you, for me in Dream? 49, sorry. No, I'm more interested what this figure is now, judging by your broad gestures. It has either increased, or you shouldn't believe Dream. but I didn't expect that it will be 98 for you. Don't get offended. Externally, you're not my dream character, and you were the first one who was the second in the strip, in the news strip. So if I need to kill you, like in this with this ideal couple, everybody read about it, and Dream's shares fell due to that. So let's actually part, because today we have a full day tomorrow, and Leo for some reason gave census to Max, and he opened the Dream and said, Leah, now I have 58, it has increased for Rudy, so it has increased over a week by 10. He was actually speaking, babbling very excitedly in the phone. So actually your subconsciousness is adding to consciousness, and it's not recommended to measure things live, and mom would be happy. So let's... Max didn't want to tell Ruda about the figures, and they spent one more week, and every day he didn't want to let Ruda spend the night in his room, and he liked subtleties, different things, how slowly he's stirring sugar in coffee, how they want to cover, conceal from the sun, and in the very unnecessary space he kissed Ruda. But it's you cannot say that they actually merged into one whole, but actually she got close from each other. She had problems with the health, which actually got her off the track. So it's how much is it worth? 49. So about the time. So let's travel India in the same format without kisses. So now I will probably take a pause. So Max, I want to ask you, of course, please, I would like to apologize. It's actually a little bit offensive. You are a mathematician and you work as analyst with an insurance company, and actually they pay very little. Which bank did you which bank did you rob? So he decided to tell everything now. He said, it's all because of my wife. Yes, it's inheritance. Yes, we can say that. Actually, have you heard about Internal Life Global Insurance? Everybody heard about it, yes. Sylvia signed a contract. She actually has donated all her organs for transplanting, and she was paid for the maintaining her health level. So she was actually taken apart, heart, kidney, joints, and Eternal paid 19 glazers to him. And he would give everything not to give this money. Not just have given everything. Actually, tomorrow is 1 year, September 22, since I have disconnected her from the life support system. So actually, what happened to her? I'm sure you wouldn't, even you would smile. A pot with a cactus plant. She was walking through New York to an important meeting, and all of a sudden she was full of life, had new plans. I thought it happened in Houston, because you live in Houston. No, it was in New York. I have disconnected her at the New York hospital, and I can't go to that city any longer. Sorry, Max, for having to... for making you survive it once again. It's impossible to forget, but over the last 2 weeks I realized that it's actually possible not to think about it every second. It's actually the best thing to have happened to me over here. But why are you so sad? You know, I have my own memories. Okay, let's go to the hotels. I am actually a little bit exhausted. So next time Rudy didn't come to the breakfast. And the porter has given a disposable screen, single-use screen with a text to her. Sorry, I was afraid not an easy talk. I have a weak heart. It's weak because it's not mine. And you asked if I know about eternal life. Not only do I know, but actually I am alive due to them. It's full insurance. I tried to deceive the fate exactly a year ago. On September 22nd, I got a phone call from New York, and I was told that there is an card that ideally matches me. And about the donor, they only said that it's like with a young woman. Everybody knew about this story with the cactus having fallen on someone's head. And actually, over the last 2 weeks, I've been regularly attending, regularly entering dream. So now the match value is dropping. Actually, my mind is overcoming the heart of your wife. And so the heart is gradually becoming mine. So God helped me meet someone who would love you as much as Sylvia loved you. And God help you be loved by someone else. This is probably the best you can do for Sylvia. They say that we are holding the person when we pass away, the one who loved. Thank you very much for daily love, Ruda. Postscriptum, one more thing. From the point of view of mathematics that you like so much, something that has happened is absolutely unlikely, and so it's a solution from the upper level, from the divine providence, and Marx felt hurt, yet at ease. Thank you very much, Alexander. So maybe I should hit the gong, and now let's, actually the human relations are the main thing in the future, but still insurance still exists there. So today let's try to sort out how much the participants of our session are bringing us closer to the image and the technologies that are possible in the future. I will, along the course of the event, will introduce the fighters on both sides, and the teams will be able to ask questions to each other. It's, the limit is 5 minutes per speaker, and the outcome will be decided by your vote. And in the end, we will put on the instruction how to vote, but you need an app. I hope you have all entered the app. So, gong. I wanted to start from the left-hand corner. It's a blue corner. It's those companies which I would say it's actually a fight. They're actually biting off pieces of business from the insurance. And I will ask the first question to Igor Alutin, who is the manager of financial services marketplace. Igor, the insurance is a feeling. It's holding one's hand, looking in the eyes, favorite label, and in the future now, and this electronic market deprived of soul. You should believe somebody. So where are you trying to get? Well, thank you. After such a story, it's difficult to actively get involved in the battle and actually try to feel something. But if you go backwards a little bit, yes, I was told about the insurance, but you haven't been told precisely about the insurance company, and it is important. Is it important in the future? And then first thing is who are we? We are the marketplace. What are we doing? We're giving people profit. There are can be many insurance companies, a lot of user experience. Some people like some brand, the brand of some insurance company. It is important that we are partners for them and we help the company to develop and to draw the clients. But our key clients are physical entities, and the main thing is to give them positive experience. When we were creating a platform, when we were integrating ourselves with insurance companies, we have over 20 insurance companies integrated with us, and I personally came to every company. I checked how it's working. I have entered the questionnaire data, and actually the insurance companies have been working online for quite some time now, but sometimes it seemed to me that some of them, prior to the development of the respective market, in the 2000s. What does it mean for me to buy this or that insurance policy? It took me to introduce this or that data. And you cannot answer at once. And I got proposals which are not beneficial for me, but marketplaces are working in a slightly different manner. In the first place, they aggregate the maximum number of data, and to become a client of the marketplace, it is enough to enter in the public services portal your account, and you can see the most profitable conditions, and that's important. And again, the insurance companies spend money on marketing, on groups of managers, and maybe the insurance companies should concentrate on something in which they are expert. And actually, the marketplaces are giving the client base, and they give positive client experience. But the main thing, of course, is that it is very important being said that we had a big session on Open API, and we forget about the fact that when a person is buying an insurance product, the person doesn't know what kind of a car the client has. Of course, you know what kind of car it is, and of course, okay, if it's a mandatory insurance, at least what kind of bank he's using, whether they are trade at the exchange, whether they have money, etc. And by having the data, we can give the maximum amount of data by the insurance company in order for them to form the product which they need at a favorable price. Because actually, when you have a Casco, the additional health insurance product, whether they are adult, what kind of income they have, and depending on that, what is the risk profile with the company, and depending on that, the price is formed. And the more data the company has, the more profitable it is, or not profitable is the price for the company. So the marketplaces for an insurance company are the major channel for involving the clients. According to the statistic, the share of marketplaces on the sales of some insurance companies, it was about 5%. During the current quarter of 2022, it's 11 to 15%, and the share the insurance company is actually. So the question where we are going, we're actually rescuing the market. We rescue the insurance companies, which in the first place cannot spend huge money to launching a large-scale advertisement campaign, and that is important because we actually know perfectly well that purchasing a product is quite easy. But for example, you've purchased a mandatory health insurance, but if something happened to the car, what is the company saying? She says, let's go to the office, but the office they closed down very promptly around the country. So if a person lives far away from a large city, they have to go 100 or 50 kilometers to use the product. So in that case, we give everyone, all people, an opportunity to use as many products as possible. Thank you, Igor. We will talk to a different corner, Evgeny Ufimtsev, who is using our community, introducing our community. So I would like to develop further his thought. And when the platform knows the client better and the regulation of the channel helps, you would actually put together everything, concentrate on the money bag, more or less. I would like to thank Igor. Thank you for this forecast. Of course, the insurance will not be money bags, and I think it's one of the mistakes, or frequently they are taking the insurers for something that is similar to a bank, a financial institution, where there are services provided during the conclusion of the contract. Actually, it's not the sale of a policy, nor it is signing of a mandatory insurance contract. It's a long story during which the insurer is providing a service to the consumer, and actually the marketplaces, they are a part, one of the components of a small segment connected with the sales, and a part of the services will actually remain. But actually the main task of the insurer when it comes to the organization of the services, when it comes to the sales or regulation of the losses, it will actually remain with the insurer. And we are actually conducting research when we assess the level of digitalization, and often people are using for some purposes of this, for some of their primary assessment, they use the platforms to our platforms to compare the services, and in many cases the users answered that they are happily using those services, but when the price at those platforms and with the insurance company is approximately identical, 40% have chosen marketplaces and only 6% of the people have actually said that you will be buying at the marketplace. The rest said no, we are going to go to the insurance company because they don't know otherwise where to go, who will be assisting them, and that's on the side of the insurer. So I think in the first place, the insurers are actually delivering the service component, and that's very necessary, and that will remain. And secondly, another thing is that on the level of the existing situation when it comes to management of losses, I think for the Russian Association of the Insurers, they had to encounter the public services portal. We have a mobile application which allows the electronic notification and photographing, and we have launched a mobile application with the public services portal which has similar functions. So it's 6,000 to 1, 6,000 people per month are using RSA and the mobile applications of the insurers, and only 1,000 are using the mobile application of the public services. So we are the specialists, we are the ones who provides for a full spectrum of everything, and I'm not saying that we don't have a chance to use some additional things, but actually the consumers are showing it. And there was a very interesting story, actually not even the future, but I have gone through it, and actually I've walked around the room in the morning, and we have electronic service, electronic doctors, and actually some things I have already experienced on myself. Also, on the example of the insurance companies, there is a wonderful electronic survey that has allowed me to assess the things that are related to my internal condition more professionally via a doctor. So the future is near, and it's actually near future, and where the insurers actually invest in services, not all evenly, but still. And there the marketplaces actually help with the things that some insurance companies have failed to develop so far, haven't finished deploying it. So strategically, I think the insurance company, its identity, some are green, some are blue, some are red, and actually that's, people are actually utilizing that visual distinction when they make a choice. So I think the services is something that helps people, and that will allow people in the future to become the insurers, not only to be the distributor of finance, but also to provide real services to people, both personally and in a corporate sense. So the medical application on the iPhone, at what time would the data be sent to the insurance company if I haven't gone through 10,000 per day? Then what is going to be happening? So maybe when you're actually, the fitness centers will be reporting that you have missed exercising. So it's like the cars actually, how much you drive affects the cost of your insurance. And yeah, the more you visit the fitness center, the less is the cost of your life insurance. But have you looked at the booth, the medical booth? Yes, I've gone through this test. Actually, I lied. So you actually get a discount. Yes, it's very good. So you're coming back to Igor Alutin. Evgeny is saying that it's only 6%. No, I think it's different. The question to Evgeny on the basis of what data and what kind of future are you looking into? Because if you, even if you ask about yesterday, when is it going to happen? When? In 2026. The central bank will oblige you to have open date. And what is the regulation problem? Because there is no API, the insurance companies are not giving anything to anyone, and then the marketplaces, the classifieds will take it away, and they will make it with a lot higher quality, and it's a very important moment that the people, when they cannot do something, they can go and buy a mandatory comprehensive health insurance, and it's actually an addition to the cost of your car. Actually, additional health insurance is actually an additional value to you. And so, what kind of statistics do you base everything upon? What kind of future are you looking into? Yeah, I'm looking at a remote future, not in 2026, and why? Because the insurer is using, when it comes to the control of the losses, the technical maintenance stations, and they're asking different experts, etc., and they will never in the nearest future have any open possibilities to connect to marketplaces, and everyone has their own evacuator, their own services. But when it comes to health, then the outpatient clinics and inpatient hospitals, there are plenty of them. So this service part is provided by the insurers, and not only do they provide of access for humans, but the people they need based on their history, based on their preferences. And you will be one of the participants, like at the insurance, like at the car maintenance, car service stations. So you'll start with nothing personal, no offenses. So, but it's used by colleagues on the part and on the right and on the left. Now the referee is setting you apart. Let's go to the blue corner. It's Sergey Lavrenkiv, representative of the Whoosh company. So insurance is not your core business. You are actually leasing out the kick scooters. And it's something for the new generation, and you are proposing an insurance product. Can you provide a mandatory comprehensive insurance coverage for the kick scooters? It's, well, in the historical background, all the founders of the companies are coming from civil aviation. All of us worked for many years in civil aviation, and we worked in the transport aviation. And when we started a kick scooter rental service, we have actually created this service. And the fact that last month Mishustin signed the amendments to the traffic rules, and now the kick scooters are a part of the general transportation system in the country. We actually have insured the users, started to insure the users during the rent of electrical, of course, scooter. And actually our strategy implies seamless use. It's actually a two-click strategy when you can buy this service very promptly. It's something that we have implemented. We managed to implement it, and it's actually proof that this is a service which is highly demanded, regardless of the fact that it's opted out. By default, we only make it for the new users who are only studying the service and studying the protocol. They are using to learning to use our electrical kick scooters, and on this nevertheless our every fourth user, according to the statistics, is using this service, and we invest quite a bit of money to cybersecurity as well, including the artificial intelligence, which in the event of an insurance case actually does confirm what has happened. So it actually did happen. And I know something called the digital duplicate, and I know that I like science fiction movies, sci-fi. We are not kick scooters for kids. We know actually what happens to the scooter at any moment of time. We know everything about the user who is using the scooter at any moment in time, so we can prove in detail in case an insurance case happened, if it happened or not. And so, speaking about the service, it's actually damage to the health or property of both the user or third parties. But we are proponents of seamless service, seamless interface, and we are calling upon the companies to simplify the service as much as possible. In order to ensure our user, we need just a few seconds, and that's actually a very easy procedure. And actually, I would probably repeat myself to the effect that those figures which we have, they speak for themselves about a very phenomenal demand for this product, and we are not insisting, we do not push, the users are choosing them themselves, and they are using the kick scooters. There is stereotype, it's some kind of a recreational story, but actually no, 85% of the travels are on the transportation scenario. People are actually renting the kick scooter to go from point A to point B, and they realize that there are certain risks they have seen, and they know what it is, especially those who are loyal. And actually that's true. So yes, thank you, Sergey. Have you anything you can ask from Sergey? Actually, I'm familiar with this product. It's 500,000 rubles as far as I know, and it also includes when it comes to, for example, damage to the phone, like your iPhone fell and breaks, you also compensate those incomes, those losses. So the cost of insurance is not high, it's like 30 to 35 rubles. But what kind of technologies do you use to combat insurance fraud and swindling? So actually we understand the digital track you mentioned. We know the profile of the client, we know the track of the client, but in more detail, what are the technologies that help you combat the swindling cases? Of course, if it's a not very new phone, maybe people want to get an insurance case and trade your phone to a new one, especially if it's old. But actually, yes, there are very few people who have cheated us, because there is a digital duplicate, because we know if there was a fall on the kick scooter, and if someone's saying that they fell off a scooter and the phone that they called on the dashboard has broken, and at what moment in time we ask a confirmation that the person owns that phone. We know if an application has been installed on the phone, so putting on someone else's phone, which was actually putting, and that was already broken. In this insurance case, it's not very good. So what I mentioned, that's an entire technology set, which includes also artificial intelligence, and it actually includes absolutely everything. But I have a question to the audience: who is prepared to turn on all the information about yourself around the clock for the sake of a free medical insurance? Who is prepared for that? About 20%. So we are not prepared for that now. So those who are afraid that your pulse has become faster over 10 minutes. So it's not. It shows that we are dissidents in that issue. And who is actually for prohibiting kick scooters in Moscow? No, don't do it. Now let's go back to the red corner, and I would like to ask Vladimir Skvortsov, who is head of the digitalization committee. And actually the consumers, they're not buying the insurance policy, and the consumers change, and they ride the scooter, and they try to connect to some services, they get into the applications, etc., and they mature, they grow old, they leave. So what are you going to do? So speaking about the scooters, I would like to say something on behalf of the other team. Actually, in general, we have this so-called phygital approach. It's physical and digital experience combined, and I think it's absolutely the future. And how we, together with Sergey, are fighting the swindling cases of the fraud, we actually combine the digital duplicate and the normal security service, which is actually dealing with the swindlers. And we have seen actually that there were too many fraud accidents in Nizhny Novgorod. And actually it turned out that it's the same people who are making the same cases with Saga. So yes, people who are riding the old, yes, the security service, they ride the old Soviet style kick scooters. So how we are going to fight the financial technology for fintech and in the sector of startups? Startups are the only way to deal with innovation, because the old methodology of surveying, making projects work for 2 years and then said that something got on the wrong place. Modern technologies actually allow to come up with an idea, making a prototype, and if it works, then you can finalize the product, improve the service, and then you are a champion. If not, then there are two issues. The first thing is that the startups can be internal, and namely for that reason. And if you think how many correct products were thrown out in the basket, the rest was actually done like that. And another story about the startup, I was very skeptically treating the players who come to the market and then they say we have such up-to-date modern technologies, top of the line, we are better technologically, therefore we can sell twice cheaper, and now we are making losses, and the economies of scale will show that we are right. And actually the number of clients is increasing, and whether it's a wow product or wow price, it's like a hype product or hype price. Of course, handing out money to people, it's probably not the best way of doing business. And you know that there is such a style icon as a lemonade, American insurance company. Everybody spoke about it. But the share price, unfortunately, it has very volatile. There is a lot of turbulence. They started from $80 at the peak. It was 180, and now for about 20 years is $20, and it's actually a drop of the price. Huge drop of the price, and it shows that big traditional insurance companies, they are not waiting quietly for the new predators to come and eat them. But actually, about 5 years ago, a German colleague of mine actually has told me that we will can regulate the insurance cases with the speed of a turtle, literally, and 100 days was the average settlement period for the property of natural persons, and they said that it's the time which is necessary for a turtle to come from Munich to Frankfurt, to crawl from Munich to Frankfurt, and Lemonade has changed the market very seriously, because from the point of view of the speed, there are completely different examples, and we have a momentary payment product when you insure the passengers, when the system itself recognizes that the flight is delayed, and it sends a message that you need to confirm your payment card, and by itself sends money to the card. And in 2021, during a heavy snowfall, this system made 1,700 payments, and 80% of the clients confirmed that they are receiving the money from the same to the same card from which they were purchasing ticket within 24 hours. So the record was 40 seconds, and Lemonade is a lemonade, but still the market is developing. But actually, I have a whole bunch of other interesting stories. You actually can purchase. I would happily do it. Yes, we are money bags. This is why I'm telling you about it. Yes, actually, I have a question. Your business model may be working, but it seems obvious that the generations are changing. And I know that we are sitting with iPhones and you are sitting with the sheets of paper. No, I have phygital. It's actually... Yes, it was for the technical service with a little bit of a delay. Actually, the generations are changing, and you can see it here. We see that we are in the new generation. We are here. I'm 29. Soon I will be the core of your audience, essentially. And it seems like it's not the technical issue, but it's a brand issue. Where you wanna go? Where do you want who do you want to protect yourself? How are you going to cope with that? Speaking about the brand, I think the brand will linger for a long time concerning the business model. I think a classical business model, like at the previous Finapolis, a disruptor colleague said that the insurance companies are using Excel to maintain client bases. No, it's never gonna work. But the classical model that we should be earning money, it's something that will remain for good. And of course, we need to understand that the client for sure needs to be at the center of all our business. And there are no doubts about it whatsoever. So it will be good if a client gets up and if the clients win. I've actually removed my sheets, but our mobile applications, it's actually a universe, whole universe, assistance for health insurance, healthcare institutions, etc. And this universe, for our clients, it has to be easy, understandable, friendly. And on that depends the success of both us, both our success and your success. So we can ask a question to all speakers. The young people seems not to be buying anything. They are renting everything, renting cars, renting apartments, which means that they are not going to take decisions on base insurance. Will the insurance business be changing? Because it's slightly different system. There will be one car park that takes a decision to insure everything and hand handed out to the participants for 1 hour. Yes, the sharing economy has permeated in this business as well. We are not insure a person for a year. We are not giving the client a policy, but we are insuring the client for the time during which he or she is using the scooter, in the same way with the rent of the apartment, not the ownership but the use of the subject of the insurance. For example, the accident insurance on the golf field starts when the person crosses the border of the golf field, and there are such products, and we will definitely be able to find those solutions. So let's go move over to health, and Mikhail is the co-founder and director or CEO of BestDoctor. So it's you are critically disposed to the colleagues, yet I know that you have purchased an insurance company. Yes, I'm not critically minded, I actually respect my colleagues. Still, I think there are serious changes happening, and I would like to thank Vladimir for the answer. I think it's a very good answer, and it's good that there are huge number of clients, and we have emerged and changed the voluntary health insurance market. So now you have to have a clinic in your pocket, an app. And now the insurers actually say that we want to act like BestDoctor, and we are being very flattered by that. It's very pleasant for us, and it's something new that radically changes everything. And I think it's not only the insurance, the technology that is inside, but actually it's the market fit. It's how the client is changing, how the portrait of the client is changing. Not by chance have I mentioned the phone, because if you look at the audience, I'm actually listening before people were looking at their phones. It's all here. So nothing is going to happen with it. People are still going to be using the phone applications all the time, and you have to, of course, issue from the client's needs, and what the clients associate themselves with is changing, and the client does not want to associate themselves with the insurer. They want to associate themselves with the service that they want to buy, and it's easy to there is future. That's the most important thing, because this is how comfort is achieved, and we want to go to the healthcare sector, and we actually so many flows in the healthcare market, in the insurance market, and the way we are different from the insurer is that from the point of view of accounting, everything is the same as with the clients, but all the API and everything is different. The main thing is that the back office is different. We are fully written for ourselves, and we are pushing or starting from where we can use artificial intelligence. All this data is being saved, and we are seeing a huge bulk of the data, and we need to optimize whether it's an Excel 2x2 or a sheet 2x2 sheet or artificial intelligence. The main thing that the person decides if they need to solve the problem, and if a phone fell off a kick scooter, then they then they will solve it. So it's just a cost. But the main thing is that we want to give the client some simple services that we have on hand. and that you cannot get something, and then the clients will come, then they will differentiate you from everybody else. So we want to build a different insurance company, which is modern and which will meet the demands of the modern world. So I think why also there will be a difference. Of course, colleagues have an excellent brand which has been made on a long time horizon, but we are different culturally. It's at the junction of technology, medicine and IT, so we are more about IT than insurance. And the essence is that we're actually breathing with it, and I think that in that respect, the client also feels that, and they want to associate themselves more with that, and to understand that there is a different set of feelings. I actually like this story about love, because actually love and insurance are two different things, but we want to build love in one thing that would be combined. And if it's a complicated case, if it's 2% of fraud, but this is something that we want to build. We want to bring some feeling into this dull financial market, and the clients, they are also missing it, because this is what is the most important. Are there any questions? Yes, there are. Mikhail, can you tell, from the point of view of your mobile application, it's probably one of the best ones in the market, and from this point of view, because you are pushing everyone to and I know that this kind of solutions, they require huge investment, and they cannot pay back because you are on the growth stage. And what you are saying to your shareholders, how you persuade them to believe in the future, and actually can other financial technology business, fintech businesses, can they start now, or have they missed the moment? What the shareholders say? Because they are not just simple technologies, we're actually looking for features, for the tools. And then you have a better loss picture, because in our voluntary insurance, additional insurance, there's a virtual clinic. It's a telemedicine which people can use at the moment. It's like an upgraded telemedicine. It's like a multi-story polyclinic in a cloud, so outpatient clinic in a cloud. And we actually see two parents. On the one hand, people in Moscow, they're too lazy to go to the next outpatient clinic, whereas in Moscow, in other regions, they cannot find this clinic. So there are economies of scale. You economize 30%. At the same time, the consumption grows. We see about 7% of the economy. So we have a lot of such things. So, you know, there is no sense in increasing the price, because you need to find the price, so the margin and the profit. So actually shareholders believe in it, because they know the more client value you provide, the more the clients can buy from you, and the greater segment of the market you can get. So red part of the ring, you are dull, you are money bags, you are have papers in your hands, me too, and I have been placed in your corner because of that, based on that parameter. And I wanted to ask Alexander Tarnovskiy, AI and other things. Can VSK answer something to that? Yes, my eyesight is not as good. Letters are too small on the phone, that's why I'm not using it. And colleagues from BestDoctors are a lot younger, but in 10 years you won't simply be able to use the phone. I'm already wearing lenses, come on. So how ends speaking about the artificial intelligence? Of course, there are such abbreviations, acronyms. People are coming more and more to the insurance sector, and companies are using it more and more actively. We are exchanging experience. We have reference visits, and there is and there are consultations going on with the banks, and it's been used for in underwriting. And it's been used in the case of insurance swindling as well. We actually have a stand at the exhibition which is connected with the smart car insurance, and there is a damaged car, and we have actually shown a seamless client track. But of course, physically, if you download a mobile application, you can scrutinize, you can review a car and get a direction for the repair. So it will be scaled afterwards, and then the clients can actually get, when new legislation on additional car insurance are enacted, they can review it on site and send everything to the site. So this year we have implemented it. So, we actually have started in 2020, we started to upgrade it since 2020, and now we have connected AI when it comes to settlement for the adjustment of the loss, and they recognize about 86% of various damages, and we want to take it to 90 plus, so we want to make it more affordable to the client, and to see how it works in practice. There is medical clinic right in front. We can check your health status, the stress level, and get consulted by an online doctor. And actually, money bags may be preventing us from moving forward. No one is going to set you apart and into parts, but you will get useful information. And we are using the artificial intelligence in the course of budgeting, and we are working with artificial intelligence. We are working for the settlement and reserve formation. And yesterday there was a very interesting panel discussion about cybersecurity and cyber risks. And there was an unprecedented attack on the financial sector, and over 80% of all cyber attacks were on the financial sector, and so it has increased by 50 times. We have felt it on ourselves, and the system has actually been able to, it was survived, it has survived, and now we can minimize the risk of breaking through the critical points in our IT infrastructure, especially when it comes to internet shops. The most of the attacks were directed there, including our mobile applications. So the spectrum of the application of the artificial intelligence is quite wide, and it will be increasing, and we will be switching it over to other kinds. But as for jointly with the development of the IoT, what Alexander mentioned, using the data from the bracelets, which are measuring the health status and having sensors at the smart homes. Of course, now the car telematics and in the onboard the default systems, there are a lot of new sensors being built in, so it's going to be increasing, augmenting, and we want to make the insurance for the client very comfortable. I don't see many contradictions here. And the marketplace, we can get integrated with the doctor. And in my opinion, We are making client tracks in a very classy way. They look at the bottlenecks of the client. They are developing the mobile applications very well. They allow us to optimize the pricing, and we can compare ourselves with the client, and there is no fighting. We're actually trying to go to meet each other, and it helps us make our client happier. And then our brands can work, and there will be field for the activity for everyone. I would like to thank Alexander. We're actually out of time completely. Still, I want to put on the voting. We can get on the application and find in the program our session. And there is this manual, the instruction, and we can try to vote while we draw some conclusions. Alexander, you have listened to us. There have been different discussion, different polemic devices, method. So do you think how fast this future will come when bad date consequences can be insured and you can get a compensation? Yes, the future is catching up with us a lot faster. And this story was also about including transplantation and the insurance. It will cause a boom in the black market of organs, because you can actually change this story by adding one sentence that he has intentionally included her in this program to get the inheritance. So are we going to remain people, or normal good people, moral people, or are we going to be using technologies which are inhumane and senseless, but very comfortable, maybe very comfortable for some people to gain profit? Actually, iPhone was created for us to be able to work anytime, and now we are supposed to work anytime. So I think healthy conservatism will be winning. To some extent, I would like to thank the speakers, my co-speakers, co-moderator. So let's put 3 dots. I think that in a couple of years the results may be different.